Hi, my name is Chef Yuan Tang, and I'm the chef owner of Rooster now in DC and soon to open Ellie Bird in Falls Church, Virginia. So this restaurant was opened 4 years ago with my wife in 2019. We actually chose this name because at that time my wife was working during the day for a nonprofit organization and I was working in kitchens. So she was the rooster, the morning bird, and I was late owl. And we wanted to create a restaurant to celebrate the two of us and how we like to dine out. So that's why we created this restaurant. The restaurant format is a 4-course prefix meant to be shared, and that's how we like to eat. So we like to imagine this place is some place people like us can come together and enjoy a meal together. So today I wanted to show you guys a dish that one of the first dishes I ever made in a real restaurant. It is basically a sushi rice risotto with a little bit of butternut squash, and we're gonna do some seared scallops put on top of it. Super simple to make, and I think it's gonna be a very impressive dinner when you can pull that together. So the flavor and texture is gonna be a little bit earthy from the butternut squash, a little bit sweet. It's gonna have a lot of creaminess coming from the risotto and some fresh seafood flavor from the seared scallops. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna take our diced butternut squash. We're gonna toss it with a little bit of olive oil, salt, and pepper. Generous amount of oil. Good pinch of salt. Some fresh ground pepper. And then I'm gonna pop it onto a sheet pan. Spread it out a little. And this is gonna go into the oven at 350 for about 7 to 8 minutes until they're tender. For this segment is a risotto. So this is a sushi rice risotto that we're gonna make with some onion, garlic, a little Parmesan cheese. Really simple, but really delicious. We do wanna start out with a little bit of chicken stock that's being warmed on the stove. It's really important that the stock is warm as we make the risotto to make sure the rice cooks evenly. So step one, we're gonna take a pan and we're gonna sweat our onions and garlic first. So take a little bit of olive oil. Again, a good generous amount of oil to coat the bottom of the pan. It doesn't have to be super hot, but you do want to hear a slight sizzle when the onion goes in. So that's about what we want. And what we're doing now is we're just sweating it to make it tender. We're looking for it to be translucent, so those will take about 2 minutes. Meantime, we're gonna season them with just a little bit of salt. So one thing I learned over the years is to, if we want to add layers of flavor in a dish, you basically have to season the dish in layers too. So that's the reason why I'm seasoning it throughout this step, and then at the end I'll taste it again to do a final seasoning. Now that's about halfway there, I'm gonna add my garlic. It's about 2 tablespoons of garlic that's been minced. And again, I have a medium heat right now. I just want to get the veg to be cooked through and tender. Okay, so onion is just about there. It's starting to turn translucent. Now I'm going to add my sushi rice. So this is a short grain sushi rice. Instead of arborio, we're going to use sushi rice. To me, this rice has a good amount of starch and is actually a little bit easier to cook than the arborio because it's smaller. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna toast the rice in the pan along with the onion and garlic. And we're looking for the rice to almost turn a little bit translucent as well. And you'll see kind of like when it's raw, it's white, but when I toast it for about a minute or two, it was gonna get a little bit more translucent like this area here. So that's what we're looking for. We wanted to bring out the nuttiness of the rice, the aroma. There's about half a cup of white wine. It's gonna go straight to the pan. And this should immediately absorb pretty much into the rice. So you give it a stir, but you'll see that it's gonna get absorbed into the rice fairly quickly. And then at this point, I'm gonna turn my heat down just a little bit. And then I'm gonna add my chicken stock. So my chicken stock here in the back is already hot. And again, you wanna make sure that the stock is hot because if you add cold stock into risotto, it's gonna cook unevenly and you're gonna have mushy or uncooked rice at the end. So we're gonna start off by adding just a few ladles. The end result should be individual grains of rice that stand out on its own, and they're all cooked through, but not mushed together. Okay, so I'm gonna add in one more ladle of stock, and then we're gonna let this thing kind of keep cooking. And we're gonna continue and repeat this process until the rice is fully cooked through, and this will take about 15 to 20 minutes. Now our roasted butternut squash is finished. You're just looking for it to be tender, but not mushy. You want it to be still intact. Okay, so to finish this risotto, we're gonna now add our, the rice is all the way cooked through. We're gonna add our cheese and our butter to finish. So I have about 3/4 of a cup of finely grated Parmesan cheese and then about 4 tablespoons of butter. We'll fold our cheese in. As you can see, as we cook this is gonna get nice and creamy from the start to the rice. Now we're gonna add our butter. It's about 4 tablespoons. Turn the heat off. So the next step, we're gonna take another pan. We're gonna preheat it again. So I'm gonna turn the fire to high. And then I'm gonna have my seared scallops here. We're gonna season it generously with salt and pepper on both sides. Now we're gonna come to our pan with a good amount of olive oil. You wanna make sure that it covers the pan again. And this one, we wanna heat the oil until it's actually lightly smoking. So we're gonna let this cook until it has a nice golden brown on one side. And the end goal is to get the scallops to be about medium rare. They actually taste really good when it's not cooked all the way through. They have a really nice tender texture. So these are pretty big and they'll take, just about 2 minutes, 1.5 to 2 minutes per side. All right, so once I see a little bit of color at the bottom, I'm gonna take a look, and that looks great. I'm gonna turn it over. That's a beautiful seared scallop. And now what we're gonna do is we're gonna actually continue cooking on this side, but I'm gonna turn the heat off. And then I'm gonna add some thyme, garlic, and a little butter, and I'm gonna baste the scallops with it. Add our garlic over the thyme. Some butter. And we're gonna turn the heat back on. And we're gonna baste the scallop with the butter. So to check for doneness, I basically give it a little touch to see if it should be it's a little bouncy, like that. And we have our beautiful seared scallops. So going back to the risotto, now it's tightened up all the way, which is great. I'm gonna add just a touch bit more stock to loosen it for texture, just a little bit. And then we're gonna add our butternut squash that we prepared earlier back into the risotto. And now we're just gonna fold it all together. This should be enough for 2 for dinner, plus a little bit of leftover, which is great. And then if you really want to impress your date, put a little garnish on top. We can cut a little bit of chives. So I'm gonna just garnish it with a little bit of fresh chives. I'm gonna do a little bit of lemon juice just right over the scallops like this at the very last minute. There we have it. We have our sea scallops, butternut squash risotto. All right, so let's give this a taste. Get a little bit of sea scallops. That's perfectly cooked, medium rare. And a little bit of the rice. That's just delicious. And it's really warm. It's like a warm hug in a cold winter day. And I think your date's gonna be really impressed if we make this dish.